Hey world, it's been when to come back live with another video. Just a little food for thought, guys. I want to come back live and uh, talk about what I was talking about earlier. I didn't get to finish up. 1 minute. Just waiting a couple of minutes, family. I know I didn't really, school is out now, so I'm gonna be going live every night. Around 7, 8 o'clock. You know, come in the garden and throw a little food for thought out there. If you didn't get a chance to check my last video out, I was talking about that the tax that Philadelphia put on sodas, and man, I just, you know, I'm even tripping out on water now, because if you look at the ingredients of some of these bottled water, calcium chloride, all of these different these chemicals in this water. You gotta ask yourself what's going on, man. You're taxing soda, but the water may be even worse for us. It's unfortunate, you know. I mean, but that's capitalism. When corporations, and you know what the funny thing about it, family, is that there aren't many corporations over here. Okay, it really is a monopoly. A few corporations that own all the other businesses and companies. It's not. You'll be surprised. And even when you throw in the international factor, I mean, it's a lot of these companies been sold off already. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about that stock market, man, and the greed, of capitalism, because a lot of these countries, they've come in and, a lot of times you think you're buying American products, but you're really not. You're buying, you know, American products owned by foreign companies. So it's really interesting. And so why would they have, you know, Americans' best interests at heart? They're not even here. I think about General Electric, think about a lot of the food that comes to this country, a lot of the food that's being sold to us. I mean, it's not healthy for us, you know. And I hate to keep reiterating, the death rates of cancer and cardiovascular diseases. I mean, you add that to the Philadelphia soda tax, man, it's like they all work together. You have the corporations working with the healthcare system. The healthcare system is working with the hospitals working with the insurance companies. You know what I'm saying? And so then you throw the banks in there that's over all of them. Man, it can be a pretty difficult situation. If you're not conscious and not on top of things, because you know this is unbelievable. And see, we're in a bubble because, like I said before, once you control, or those who control information, controls perception. So we over here thinking that everyone lives like this, and they don't. And I mean by your health, and the fact that a lot of stuff that's presented to us isn't healthy, you know. And so, you know, I think you have to be more worried. I think if you start doing a little bit more research of other countries and how other countries really live, especially in South America, a lot of different countries in Asia and Africa, they don't eat this stuff, and the values are different. I mean, health is really important, and it's not until U.S. corporations go into these countries and that health of the citizens kind of deteriorate, and then you start seeing this huge number of cardiovascular diseases and cancers around the world now. But look at what those people are eating. And I think I mentioned in another video about in Middle East, specifically Kuwait, where and if you go look at Kuwait City in Kuwait, you think it's an American city, okay? You think it's an American city. Let me decline that. I was supposed to go hit some golf balls tonight, guys. So, I think I actually go to the golf range, hit some golf balls tonight. But yeah, I mean Kuwait, they have Domino's, McDonald's, Burger King, and they love it. You know what I mean? And so, don't think just for 1 minute that if these McDonald's or the food restaurants, they try to do a lot of advertising saying how much healthier they are than before, but they really don't care because remember they're international. They make a gang of money overseas, and so you definitely need to make sure you take care of your body and make your health, your wealth, because it can get pretty difficult out here. Okay, but guys, I'm not gonna be on long. I definitely wanted to talk about these dividend stocks before I get out of here. Some of the family members in the guard that's interested in dividend stocks and investing, when you look at these stocks and when you do your research, because you might make sure you do your research, find out exactly how long companies have paid dividends, right? Don't put yourself in the box and say, I only want to deal with this kind of company, I only want to deal with that kind of company. Look into different type of dividend investments. And what I mean by dividend investments, I mean like index funds, REITs, those are really real estate investment trusts that we got into last live, and also U.S. Treasuries. So that's what I'm basically trying to say is, look into different instruments where your money can actually make more money opposed to just sitting in that bank. And like I say, right now with all this stuff going on, I miss a lot of geopolitical stuff going on, family, and it just, 12, 18 months, what I'm saying? I'm not Nostradamus, but I do sense some things that's going to happen pretty soon that's going to precipitate a market crash, and, it's going to be great opportunities out there. And so if you do have that type of cash that's just sitting around, make sure you put it in a situation where it's not just sitting there not making no money. You got CDs, you got in the money markets, okay? And remember, don't forget those online banking institutions that you can that accommodate you with that. Brick and mortars, Wells Fargo, and Chase, and everything. Minnesota in the house. D, what's up? What's up? Yeah. I just Minnesota won the. Well, y'all got 6% up there in Minnesota. Hold on, let me see. Let me confirm that, because I know Minnesota is one of the top states that had the high credit. Let me pull out my notes. What are you? Yep, Minnesota. Yeah, y'all, which is 6%. 6% Afro-melanated up there in Minnesota. But what I found interesting, D, was that it's 37% locked up. Now that's crazy. Minnesota have 6% Afro-melanated population, but 37% in prison. See, that's the stuff I'll be talking about. And even though they're one of the highest average credit states, but look at that discrepancy. I ain't digging that, man. That's why I say, nevertheless, we got to get this. We got to get this. We got to get this wealth by making sure that we increase our health and by making sure we increase our education on this stuff, because and I promise you, a lot of the brothers that are locked up right now are in there for marijuana and cannabis, which is finna be legal soon. And that's another thing that I really wonder, if these politicians gonna speak on that. What are going to be some of the retribution, and especially the adults community. You dig? I would like to see what's their perspective on the the impending legalization of marijuana and how that's going to affect people that were locked up for many years in prison for marijuana related offenses. Are they going to be released? Now, I did hear that they were going to release marijuana offenses for those who were had non-violent charges. Okay, I think if it was non-violent charges, then if you locked up for marijuana or cannabis, then you'll be able to get some type of retribution. I'm not sure exactly what it is right now, pretty vague, but I think that's what they were talking about. But I think it's kind of interesting that the politicians are not talking about that at all. But like I say, I digress. Like I said, family, make sure that you're getting your money right and not just sitting there. I just can't reiterate that enough. Yeah, right. LB teach, no doubt. So make sure you get your money right on that situation right there. And another thing on the particular politicians and this upcoming election, I think it's interesting that a lot of the issues that are being out there right now are not issues that are pertaining to things that are going to help us, okay, per se. Hey there, LB. I see you. Some people gonna criticize, oh, well, being you don't vote, so you can't, really say anything. But like I say, that's hypocritical on someone's part to say that, even though if you vote, then you should be an advocate of First Amendment rights. So I should be able to say what I want to say, regardless. I'm not hurting nobody, but I do think it's quite interesting that no one is charging these politicians up on things that are going to actually help us as citizens, or help those that are voting for these people as citizens. Because I don't know if you really know this, but go look at their compensation packages. All right, go look at when they became politicians, when they first got into office, because it just amazed me how they want Donald Trump's tax forms, right? But we know Donald Trump's been a millionaire for years. I mean, what you want his last 10 years of tax returns for? Why? Everybody knows he's been a millionaire since the 90s. You dig? So, no, what I'm more interested in is these politicians that are in office that are millionaires, but you weren't millionaires when you got in there. Okay? And your particular compensation package is head over heels more than the people that are putting you in office. Okay? And not only that, how is it that if you voted into office twice in Congress, okay, after that, you get your total compensation for the rest of your life, like Social Security, and here we are as people have to work 20, 30 years, got to wait till we 65, 67 to get ours, and then have to hear that in 13 to 14 years that it may not even be there. But politicians, y'all's compensation include just being elected twice, and you are, rich like that. And that's right, D. Inside trading, okay? Inside trading. Having these lobbyists that are corporate CEOs put money into your political campaign, and then when you get into office, then bam, they got contracts. And it always amazed me about the discrepancy with the number of people that really get contracts, because, you got to realize, guys, the government give millions and millions of dollars a year. And that's why I say, family, you're out there and you can reinvent yourself and acquire skill sets that, the public, or that you can sell, get into these infrastructure research committees so you can find out all these contracts that governments are giving out, okay? Because they give out a lot of money, but it's quite interesting that I don't really know anybody get these contracts. But I know a lot of people working for contractors. You dig? So I just think it's quite interesting. Oh, Nancy Pelosi, oh yeah, over $200 million, G. Over $200 million. And U.S. federal government, the largest employer in the world, yeah. And that's why when they shut the government down, you notice how people just saying we want to work? They didn't do nothing. That's the largest employer, And so when you have people using that job as your livelihood instead of, using that job as a means of building wealth, then of course you're going to be living check to check. I don't know if you know, family, but There's 40% of Americans, if they had a $400 bill all of a sudden, they'll be in trouble. Okay? So what that tells you, it's a lot of people living check to check. It's a lot of people that are consumers only, opposed to investors. Yeah? So, so these politicians, it's a trip, man. So the discrepancy is unbelievable when it comes to them and us. And what was supposed to happen? They're supposed to be serving. Like I said before, leaders are supposed to serve. Leaders aren't supposed to be the ones always getting served. They're supposed to provide something tangible. Family out there, please leave in the comment section or while we live. Can you, as conscious political individuals, can you name anything tangible that you know of that a politician has done or that said that he's promised or she's promised that then actually came to fruition? Yeah, I'm thinking, the volatility in the market it's just too high, man. The volatility is too high. Yeah, I agree with you, LB. I mean, but the job situation, see, it's like what they call psychological brainwashing, where when you put it out there so much about jobs, even to the point where getting a higher education, not to reinvent yourself to produce something, that people will want, but to get a higher paying job, okay? And when you get a higher paying job, man, you start buying more things, because of the lack of education. That's what I'm saying. I think education should actually be more based on learning how finances work and learning how this market works, okay? And the history of money, okay? And stores are closing. Well, like I say, I did a video about that. It was called The Retail Apocalypse, all right? And I think we know 6,000 retail stores supposed to close at the end of this year. Okay, 5,600 around 2018. So I think 11,000 plus, right? And so all is that going to do is precipitate, even more volatility in the market. Yeah, and that's the thing that I want to really take it upon myself to do this about, bringing more food for thought from a financial education standpoint, because they don't teach us this in school. I've been a teacher 17 years. That's not on the curriculum. That ain't on the STAR test. You did? So, I think it's important that, and I'm 50, all right? So you're never too old, and you never, and it's always easier and better to start while you're young, okay? Start learning the vernacular about, finance and how the origin of money works. Because once you know the origin of money, then you realize that money don't exist, and that is basically your energy. Okay? And then using your energy to create wealth is basically what you want to do through education, through understanding things about, the economy, the macroeconomy and the microeconomy. Okay? Hold up, I got to decline that call. All right? And so that being said, you don't want to be when those numbers go across the screen, and you see the red and the green, and you see them charts and everything, and they talking about money. You don't want to be the one that's can only relate to money when it comes to counting it, or when it comes to putting it in your bank account, or when it comes to spending it. You want to understand that, because see, that's another form of language. Understanding market capitalization, understanding earnings per share and dividend yield and inverted curves and what that kind of stuff means. Okay? And so what I'm going to be getting into those things as well, but I want to make sure that, this is something that, when you have a definite or a purpose about it, you can jump right into it, and you'll be amazed how easy it is. Just like you was able to learn your ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, and how to know the difference between a conjunction and an assembly and a metaphor and all that kind of stuff. They taught you that. Algebra and all that kind of stuff. You can learn the same way. It's that easy. Okay? It's just a different language, but it's the language of wealth. Okay? And it's not about, getting rich. No, it's about learning how to attain the wealth so you can get pass it on to your children, then that children's children, and now you're building a nation of people with wealth. And then now when we go to the neighborhoods, now we can start building infrastructure. You know, cleaners, stores, washers and dryers, washateers, banks. When you go in there, you see people look just like you, and not only working in there, but own it. But it starts with an understanding of how money works and then knowing exactly when you're supposed to be able to get into this game. See, and it's patience. We want everything so fast. We want everything right now. No, no, no. You got to have patience and you got to have a plan. You know the old saying, if you fail to prepare, you're preparing to fail. And the patience I think patience is the biggest characteristic that you got to have if you've never been introduced to something or if you want to get better at something. I think it was Benjamin Graham that said that in order to be perfect at something, you must put 10,000 hours in. Okay? And I agree with that, because what that's saying is that you pretty much told yourself, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to learn it. Okay? Because before you can do anything, for anything to manifest, it starts with a thought. Everything that's ever been created started with a thought. So if you want to manifest this, this wealth, you want to manifest a consciousness for understanding your surroundings, because that's another thing. Where you live affects how you live. So you got to make sure you stay on top of your surroundings. You did? So let me get into some of the reading. Anybody have any questions? Okay. Guys, let me ask you a question. How you feel about and I already hit them before, man, but I just think it's funny. I told you before that Tesla. They've already said that Tesla is going to probably crash, which we know that. How do you feel about Elon Musk and SpaceX and Space Force and all this money? Because let's think about this for a minute, family. All of this money that we're spending, because it's all on taxes that we're spending to go to space. And then you have Tesla, and you have SpaceX, you have the Virgin Islands Corporation are offering rich people chances to go to the moon. Come on, man. Who does that when we have kids that are hungry in America? Homeless kids. And y'all have the audacity to show it on the television? What? And you're supposed to pull on your love string, but you got to show that and say donate $1, 20 cents a day can feed these kids. And then when you look at their records, you find out that they, as a nonprofit organization, they've donated less than 1% or 2%. You dig? So I just think that's funny, man, that Tesla and the SpaceX, just all this. Because remember, Tesla was supposed to be just built on just making electric cars. Okay, but then what they start trying to get into, going to the moon and all that kind of stuff, well, we know, come on, family. Okay? So all of this, of course, is out there to precipitate one thing: diversions. Okay? To keep people on things that we shouldn't be on. Okay, what we should be on right now, family, is making sure you stay in touch of what's going on geopolitically. Okay, watch Bloomberg, Yahoo Finance. Okay, yeah, you electric cars in the moon. Yeah, no doubt. All right, so just know how to differentiate between the minutia stuff that they're trying to keep you diverted with, and then the stuff you should stay on top of. All right. Because believe me, electric cars are going to be way more prevalent on the roads before autonomous cars, self-driving cars, okay? So when you're thinking about self-driving cars, that'll get you off of the fact that, well, no, it's going to be electric cars first. And so in saying that, look into lithium companies that make lithium. Chile in South America has the world's largest lithium reserve, okay? So Of course, Chile have company that's on our stock market as well. So electric cars are going to be some of the things that are going to be on point. All right. Let's see what else, guys, going on. Uh, Other than to get out here and hit some of these golf balls before it get too late. I'm just going to let you know that. Let's see here. Yeah, you just learned about Chile, no doubt. Yeah. Chile basically has the largest lithium reserve. And they have a couple of companies right now that's trading on the market around $60 a share that are going to blow up pretty soon. All right. And right now there are some lithium stocks out there that are around $3 or $4 right now. Of course, this is for entertainment purposes only. But being doing the research, I'm gonna bring that food to you. So look into lithium. Look into that whole lithium stock situation, because, like I say, they said by 2030 it's gonna be like 2,800% more EV cars on the road. And EV, that's electric vehicles. Okay, so look into that, guys. Well, I'm about to get on out of here, family. Appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. Like I said, I'm be coming back every night around 7, 8 o'clock, and be coming back with some finance information, coming back with some political information. And like I said, I'll stay away from all the celebrity stuff, because if they're not doing anything that's gonna help us, they in the news enough. You dig? So, family, I love you guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. In the meantime, between time, may the Most High Messiah bring you joy, and being with us out of 5,000.